Stop waiting. The greatest tragedy isn't that your millions haven't arrived. It's that they may already be at your door, while your own fear keeps the door locked. What if everything you've been praying for has already been released, but your mind refuses to receive it? Today you'll discover why most people spend years chasing abundance that was never meant to be chased. You'll uncover the hidden psychological pattern that silently blocks wealth, the unmistakable signs that your breakthrough is already in motion, and how one shift in your inner world can change everything starting today. If this message is changing the way you see abundance and helping you uncover the hidden beliefs shaping your reality, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Every new video is designed to challenge limiting patterns, awaken deeper awareness, and help you build a mindset that welcomes lasting success instead of unconsciously resisting it. Now, let's continue uncovering what has been quietly waiting for you all along. Most people believe they are waiting for money, but in reality, money is waiting for a different version of them. This is one of the greatest misunderstandings of human life. We are taught that success comes only through endless struggle, constant chasing, and exhausting effort. While action is essential, there is another force operating beneath everything you do, your unconscious mind. It quietly decides what you believe you deserve, what opportunities you notice, and what possibilities you reject before you are even aware of them. You may consciously dream of millions, yet unconsciously feel unsafe around wealth. When these two forces conflict, the unconscious almost always wins. This is why so many hard-working people remain trapped in the same financial reality for years. They are not simply lacking opportunity. They are carrying an invisible identity that cannot comfortably hold the abundance they seek. Think about how often people sabotage themselves just before a breakthrough. A promotion is within reach, and suddenly they lose confidence. A profitable opportunity appears, and they hesitate until someone else takes it. They begin building a business with excitement, only to quit when success starts becoming real. These actions seem irrational on the surface, but they make perfect sense beneath it. The mind always protects what feels familiar, even when familiarity means limitation. If struggle has become your normal state, then abundance feels unpredictable. Your inner world quietly pulls you back toward what it already recognizes as safe. This hidden resistance is not punishment from the universe. It is a psychological defense system created over years of experiences, disappointments, and inherited beliefs about money, power, and worthiness. Now imagine standing beside a flowing river with a tightly sealed container in your hands. The river represents endless opportunity, but the container can receive nothing because its lid remains closed. Most people try to increase the size of the river through harder work, longer hours, or constant searching. Yet they never examine the container itself. The closed lid represents fear, guilt, self-doubt, and the silent belief that extraordinary wealth belongs to someone else. Until those inner barriers are recognized and released, every blessing feels as though it slips through your fingers. Opportunities arrive, relationships form, ideas emerge, yet nothing seems to stay. The problem is not the flow of abundance. It is the unconscious refusal to receive it fully. Receiving is not passive. It is one of the most courageous psychological acts a person can perform. To receive abundance, you must allow yourself to become someone who no longer argues with possibility. You stop asking whether you deserve success and begin asking how you can responsibly use it. Instead of seeing wealth as something distant, you begin treating it as a natural extension of your growth. Your decisions become calmer. Your vision becomes clearer. You stop reacting from fear and start responding from confidence. This subtle transformation changes the way you speak, negotiate, invest, create, and connect with others. The external world begins responding differently because your internal identity has quietly changed first. So stop believing that your greatest obstacle is outside of you. The real barrier may be an old story still living within your unconscious. A story written by past failures, childhood conditioning, or repeated disappointments. That story is not your destiny. The moment you become aware of it, you gain the power to rewrite it. And when your inner identity finally aligns with the abundance you desire, waiting no longer feels necessary. You begin recognizing opportunities that were always present, making decisions with certainty instead of fear, and stepping into a reality that once seemed impossible. The millions you seek may not begin with a bank account. They begin with a mind that is finally prepared to receive them. Scarcity is rarely about the amount of money in your bank account. It is an identity that quietly shapes the way you see yourself and the world around you. A person can possess great wealth and still live in constant fear of losing everything, while another with very little can carry an unshakable belief that abundance is inevitable. The difference lies in the unconscious identity each person has accepted. Long before your financial reality appears on the outside, it is rehearsed within the hidden conversations of your mind. If those inner conversations constantly repeat, "There is never enough," "Success belongs to other people," or "I always fall behind," then your actions will unknowingly reinforce those beliefs. You begin making decisions that protect your familiar limitations instead of expanding your future. Most people inherit this identity without realizing it. It is passed through family conversations, childhood experiences, cultural expectations, and painful disappointments. Perhaps you grew up hearing that wealthy people are selfish, that life is always a struggle, or that dreaming too big only leads to heartbreak. These ideas settle deep beneath conscious awareness until they become invisible rules that govern your life. You may work harder than everyone around you, yet still feel guilty charging what your skills are worth. You may receive an incredible opportunity, but immediately search for reasons why it will fail. The scarcity identity is clever because it disguises itself as caution, realism, or humility, while quietly preventing growth. Imagine carrying an old map that shows roads which no longer exist. Every decision you make is based on outdated directions, so no matter how determined you are, you continue arriving at the wrong destination. Your unconscious beliefs work in much the same way. They were created to help you survive a different season of life, but now they keep leading you back to the same emotional and financial patterns. The world around you may have changed, opportunities may be everywhere, and new possibilities may be waiting just beyond your comfort zone. Yet your internal map keeps telling you to turn back. Until that map is questioned, your future will continue to resemble your past. Breaking the identity of scarcity does not happen by pretending problems do not exist. It begins by refusing to let yesterday's experiences define tomorrow's expectations. Every time you replace fear with deliberate action, every time you choose possibility over automatic doubt, and every time you invest in your growth instead of your excuses, you weaken the old identity. Gradually, your mind stops seeing abundance as something unusual and begins recognizing it as something natural. Confidence grows not because circumstances become perfect, but because your relationship with uncertainty changes. Instead of fearing the unknown, you begin seeing it as the birthplace of opportunity. The moment you release the identity of scarcity, something remarkable begins to happen. Your attention shifts from what is missing to what is possible. You notice ideas you once ignored, relationships you once overlooked, and opportunities that had always been present, but hidden behind your limiting beliefs. Your energy becomes less focused on surviving and more focused on creating. This is where genuine transformation begins. The universe does not need to create a completely new path for you. It often reveals the path that was already there, waiting for the old identity to step aside. When scarcity no longer defines who you are, abundance no longer feels like a distant dream. It becomes the natural reflection of the person you have chosen to become. Many people spend their lives believing that the universe rewards those who chase the hardest, push the longest, and exhaust themselves in endless pursuit. Yet there is a deeper truth hidden beneath relentless effort. The outer world often mirrors the condition of the inner world. When your thoughts are filled with conflict, fear, and contradiction, your actions become scattered, and even the best opportunities seem to slip away. But when your beliefs, emotions, and purpose begin moving in the same direction, life starts unfolding with a different rhythm. Doors that once appeared locked begin opening, conversations become meaningful, unexpected opportunities arrive. It is not because reality has suddenly changed overnight. It is because your inner alignment allows you to recognize and act upon possibilities that were always present. Inner alignment begins when you stop living in opposition to yourself. Many people say they desire abundance, yet secretly believe they are unworthy of it. They dream of freedom while remaining emotionally attached to fear. They ask for success but continue identifying with failure because it feels familiar. This silent contradiction creates tension that drains confidence and clouds judgment. The unconscious mind cannot move with certainty when it is being pulled in opposite directions. The moment your deepest beliefs begin supporting your highest vision instead of resisting it, something extraordinary happens. Your decisions become clearer, your energy becomes focused, and your presence carries a quiet certainty that others naturally trust. Imagine an orchestra preparing for a grand performance. If every instrument plays a different melody, the result is confusion, no matter how talented the musicians are. But when every instrument follows the same rhythm, the music becomes powerful enough to move every listener. Your thoughts, emotions, actions, and beliefs work in exactly the same way. When they compete against one another, progress feels exhausting. When they work together toward a single purpose, even ordinary actions begin producing extraordinary results. The universe appears to respond because your life is finally expressing one clear message instead of countless conflicting ones. This is why periods of stillness are often more valuable than periods of frantic activity. In silence, you begin noticing the hidden fears that have quietly directed your choices. You recognize old identities that no longer serve your future. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with intention. You no longer chase every opportunity out of desperation. You choose the opportunities that genuinely align with your purpose. This shift creates momentum that feels natural rather than forced. Success stops feeling like a battle against life and begins feeling like cooperation with it. The greatest breakthroughs rarely begin with a dramatic event. They begin with a subtle internal decision, the decision to stop fighting yourself. When your inner world becomes unified, your outer world starts reflecting that unity in remarkable ways. You notice ideas that once escaped your attention. You attract people who resonate with your vision. You move through uncertainty with confidence instead of fear. This is the hidden power of inner alignment. The universe does not simply respond to your wishes, it reflects the person you consistently become. And when your mind, heart, and actions finally speak the same language, abundance no longer feels distant. It begins to recognize you as someone who is fully prepared to receive it. Most people expect abundance to announce itself with dramatic events. A sudden fortune, a life-changing phone call, or an overnight transformation. But major breakthroughs rarely arrive that way. Long before your external reality changes, your inner world begins to shift in subtle yet powerful ways. You start questioning old habits that once felt normal. Goals that once seemed impossible begin feeling achievable. You become less interested in proving yourself to others and more focused on becoming the person you truly want to be. These quiet changes often go unnoticed, yet they are the first indications that your life is preparing for a different chapter. The greatest transformations begin in silence, long before the world can see them. Another sign is the unexpected appearance of discomfort. This surprises many people because they assume progress should always feel exciting. In reality, growth often feels unsettling at first. As your old identity begins to fade, familiar routines no longer satisfy you. Certain relationships may naturally drift away. Opportunities that once seemed attractive suddenly lose their appeal. It can feel confusing, even lonely, because the life you are leaving behind no longer fits, while the future you are moving toward has not fully arrived. This uncomfortable space is not evidence that something is wrong. It is often proof that your inner world is expanding beyond its previous limits. You may also notice an increase in meaningful coincidences. A book appears at exactly the right moment. A conversation gives you the answer you have been searching for. An unexpected opportunity arrives through someone you almost did not meet. These moments are easy to dismiss as luck, but they become more frequent when your awareness changes. The mind naturally begins recognizing patterns and possibilities that once escaped your attention. What seemed like random events start forming a connected path. The opportunities were often there all along, but your previous mindset was too distracted by fear or doubt to notice them. Perhaps the most powerful sign is a growing sense of calm where anxiety once ruled. You stop feeling the need to chase every opportunity out of desperation. Instead, you begin making thoughtful decisions with confidence. You no longer measure your worth by temporary setbacks or compare your journey with everyone else's. This inner stability allows you to think clearly under pressure and act wisely when opportunities appear. People are naturally drawn to those who carry this quiet confidence because it reflects certainty rather than fear. In many ways, abundance first appears as a change in your presence before it appears in your possessions. If these signs are beginning to emerge in your life, do not ignore them simply because they seem ordinary. Great change often enters through small, almost invisible doors. Every shift in perspective, every release of an old fear, and every decision made from confidence instead of scarcity prepares you for greater responsibility and greater rewards. The millions you seek rarely arrive without first transforming the person who will manage them. When your inner world begins changing in these subtle ways, it may be the clearest indication that abundance is no longer something far away. It is already moving toward you, one conscious step at a time. One of the greatest illusions the mind creates is the belief that waiting is the same as preparing. Many people spend years telling themselves, "I'll start when the time is right. I'll believe when I see proof. I'll move when I feel completely ready." But the perfect moment never arrives because fear constantly invents another reason to postpone action. The unconscious mind prefers the safety of delay over the uncertainty of transformation. It whispers that tomorrow will be easier, next month will be clearer, and next year will finally bring confidence. Yet every day spent waiting strengthens the identity of someone who expects life to happen to them instead of through them. The future you desire is not held back by time. It is often held back by hesitation. Fear has a remarkable ability to disguise itself as wisdom. It tells you that you are simply being careful, responsible, or realistic. But there is a difference between thoughtful preparation and endless postponement. Preparation creates momentum, while fear creates excuses. Think of how many opportunities disappear not because people lack talent, but because they doubt themselves long enough for someone else to step forward. Every hesitation teaches the unconscious mind that uncertainty should be avoided rather than explored. Over time, this pattern becomes a prison. The door remains unlocked, yet few people dare to push it open because they have convinced themselves that safety is more valuable than possibility. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean with a ship built specifically for your journey. The ship is strong, the wind is favorable, and the horizon is calling your name. Yet you refuse to leave the harbor because you cannot guarantee calm waters every single day. The longer you remain there, the more comfortable the harbor becomes, even though it was never meant to be your destination. Life works in much the same way. Waiting may feel secure, but harbors were built to prepare ships, not to become their permanent home. Your potential cannot be fulfilled while anchored to fear. The sea may hold uncertainty, but it also holds every opportunity that the shore never could. Releasing fear does not mean eliminating it entirely. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that your purpose is greater than your anxiety. Each time you take meaningful action despite uncertainty, you weaken fear's influence over your identity. You begin trusting your ability to adapt rather than demanding perfect conditions. This shift changes everything. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" you begin asking, "What if this is the opportunity that changes my life?" Your focus moves from protecting yourself against loss to creating a future worth pursuing. The mind becomes less occupied with imagined dangers and more engaged with genuine possibilities. The moment you stop waiting for permission from the world, from other people, or even from your own doubts, you reclaim your power. Abundance does not favor those who endlessly watch from the sidelines. It favors those who are willing to move forward with wisdom, faith, and determination, even when the full path is not yet visible. Every great achievement begins with a single decision to leave the comfort of certainty behind. The universe cannot guide feet that refuse to move. But when you release fear, abandon endless waiting, and step confidently toward the life you were meant to build, you discover something extraordinary. The breakthrough you thought was delayed may have been waiting only for your first courageous step. The greatest misunderstanding about wealth is believing that millions are something you chase. In reality, lasting abundance is often drawn toward the person who has developed the character, discipline, and awareness to sustain it. Money has a way of amplifying what already exists within you. If your mind is ruled by fear, more wealth often creates greater anxiety. If your identity is built on confidence, responsibility, and purpose, wealth becomes a powerful tool rather than a heavy burden. This is why true transformation begins long before financial success appears. The outer reward is simply the visible reflection of an invisible inner evolution. Before your life changes, the person living that life must change first. Every day, your habits quietly shape the identity you carry into the future. Small decisions that seem insignificant, keeping promises to yourself, learning a new skill, managing your emotions under pressure, and remaining consistent when motivation fades, gradually build a foundation that can support extraordinary success. Most people wait until they become wealthy before acting like responsible, confident individuals. But the deeper truth is the opposite. They become wealthy because they first learn to think, act, and make decisions as someone who could wisely handle greater opportunities. The unconscious mind accepts repeated actions as evidence of who you are, and over time, your identity becomes stronger than your temporary circumstances. Imagine a magnificent tree whose roots stretch deep beneath the earth. No one applauds the roots because they remain hidden, yet they determine whether the tree can survive storms and continue bearing fruit. Your inner character works the same way. Integrity, patience, resilience,